Now, how does somebody gain over 6,000 of their ideal followers in under 6 months? Well, that's exactly what today's guest, Dustin Hauer, has done on LinkedIn, even though he was stuck under 600 followers for years. And recently, he's been recognized by LinkedIn as one of their top social media voices. So even though I've gained over 60,000 subscribers on my YouTube channels over the years and over 6,000 followers on Instagram, I just started on LinkedIn at 0 last month. So naturally, after he commented on one of my posts last week, I reached out to see what tips and strategies he could share because I'm on a mission to make my LinkedIn account bigger than both my YouTube and Instagram accounts by the end of the year. If you're on a mission to do the same, I hope you can join us for this conversation where we cover valuable insights over how he started growing his dead account on LinkedIn by engaging in the community and commenting every day. Quick tip, you have to engage to get engagement, at least in the beginning. We also talk about the fears of putting yourself on camera and some easy hacks that can make it feel natural and conversational. We also cover tips for retaining viewers on video and how to hook them with minimal editing, especially on YouTube and LinkedIn. Hint, there's a #1 retention stat and analytic for YouTube that makes all the difference in the world. We're also going to discuss the benefits and advantages of video that make it the most powerful content type around. And during this, we're also going to discuss why more views and impressions on your carousels, videos, and image posts isn't always better, especially if you sell high-ticket products or services. So if you're looking for simple strategies and insights that can help you grow your own personal brand on LinkedIn or even YouTube, our conversation was jam-packed with valuable insights and information that can help you do the same. And before we roll into the conversation, don't forget to follow both of our accounts for more value like this. Enjoy.
And that's how it all starts, really.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly how I started with Instagram back in 2015, 2016. It was all just comments and communities. And we used to actually, they banned it now, but we had kind of group chat threads inside of Instagram to where you'd find other people your similar size and your niche, and you kind of have unspoken agreement with everybody that when they post, you share it within that group, and then everybody goes in right away and likes it and then writes a comment real quick. So they blocked that out now. They don't allow the same type of messaging with groups, but it's how a lot of the big creators at the very beginning of IG got going. And it seems like, I guess, very similar to how it's working now. Because I did read a post earlier today that someone with a big following on LinkedIn was showing how she automated all of her posts for 3 weeks while she went away for the summer and just turned her phone off to see what would happen if it was more of the consistent posting or if it was the engagement. And even with posting the same exact style of content for 3 weeks on autopilot, her engagement went down to 84%.
Oh yeah.
So it's 80 plus percent of your engagement and impressions are going to be generated, I guess, from still engaging with the community and comments on your own side. So have you seen kind of a similar thing?
So that was kind of something in the back of my mind that I thought, would probably be a thing. And in the last month or so, I've cut my engagement down a ton, where I'll keep up with the comments and stuff that I get on my stuff. But it kind of aligned directly with like a rebrand for me, where it was just like one color, super clean, super like straight to the point. And then I did more basically carousels every day.
Okay.
And then that seemed to, even do a little bit better in terms of engagement, while I didn't I'm not doing 100 comments a day like I used to.
Interesting.
And I'm doing more like probably on the weekends. I usually will, just because I don't know.
I guess, how important would you say engaging and commenting is versus just flat out posting consistently? Is there one that's more important than the other?
I would say consistently posting is only half of it, in terms of the other half being engagement. And even engagement is probably more important than consistency in terms of like daily posting. I would say pretty much do what's sustainable. If you can do 3 times a week, do 3 times a week. If you do once a week, do absolute minimum like once a week. But
what have you found that helps you keep that consistency? Because like that's a grind, posting twice a day, every day, all year long. So do you batch record, or I mean, since you're not doing video, batch write
Oh yeah.
and design and then just schedule it out, or how do
Yep.
you?
Yeah, I schedule it, and that's part of it is like if you can schedule out all of your content, so then that way it removes like the creative drain you might have, and then you can focus more on commenting, before your post, after your post. They always say half hour before, half hour after, comment on other people's stuff, try and make your presence felt. And then when your stuff hits, then it usually, can boost it a little bit because other people are seeing it. So yeah, that's the big thing is, sectioning off that creative, batching versus like the commenting side of things. If you try and come up with a post it, and then try and comment on other people's stuff, it's going to wear you out, and you're not going to, have any sort of consistency that way.
Yeah, for sure. That's my first 3 years of learning that was just all burnout for sure.
Mm-hmm.
3 years straight, I felt just dead inside, just miserable trying to get through that first little hump. But yeah,
that was the first thing that I did was go on to Buffer and figure out how to schedule stuff, because I was like, I'm not gonna, keep up with. I'm not gonna get up every morning and want to post something.
Sure, I think, and honestly, even that's how, even in the content creation process for us, we found that doing video first really helped us set up that creative drain of having to come up with ideas or anything else, because we could put out these long form videos and
Mm-hmm.
by gauging the comments, by gauging what the interactions were, we could see what topics of videos we posted, what our audience and our core fans, what they really wanted to hear more on. So we could use that the videos as a gauge for deeper dives. So then that one video that really performed and had 3 different subtopics in it, well, now we're going to repurpose that into 3 separate carousels, 2 separate infographic posts. We're going to take topics from that and feedback that we get on Instagram, and then we're going to convert that into a blog on the website. And then we're also going to take that and convert that into a newsletter drip campaign. And then you can just kind of use one piece of content, especially with video, because there's so much back end work that goes into it, that you've kind of have a structure to trickle down into every other type of content. Because it's that one long form video ends up getting you 5 to 10 short form videos, and then multiple articles and blogs and newsletters, and then even information to identify to put into infographics. So stuff like that with a video first strategy is really kind of what we do now. It's really all I do for people is video first strategy. So
the impressions, I mean, I'll get 2,000-3,000 a post, but it's, not, I don't know, not like the videos where I'm like, today I'm just like, this is stupid. I need to freaking do, a quote like I do at night, a marketing thing like I do in the morning, and then just do a freaking video at lunchtime and do 3 a day. And then I'd cover all my bases, with the inspiring stuff, the on brand stuff in the morning, and then just free talk, rambling lunchtime. But I don't know.
Like, this is good too. I mean, that's why I'm recording this, so I can send us both a copy. And then if there are bits that we have from here, there was like, you go on a 45-second thing, you just set up and make it into, a video post. So
I appreciate that. That's awesome. Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm doing too, is a little bit more, just even connecting with people like you, Zoom calls, recording them, and then batching all that. So I have a library that's growing. I think even just stuff like this a couple times a week, just connecting with people over video.
I agree.
That's an easy way to have a conversational type piece that feels natural versus you sitting down and staring directly in the camera, trying to remember what you're saying and do all that. Yeah. That could be intimidating and get hard, even if you've been doing it for years. So,
and the most frustrating thing probably is there's nothing against the people that just read a script to the camera, because they're getting the views too, and they're doing more than what I'm doing. So that's it's frustrating to me where I'm like, this is so easy. You just need to talk in front of a camera. And I don't do that because I'm like, I'll just, because then I'll record it and then I'll feel like I need to edit it. But then I don't need to, I can just skip that step completely and just upload it and just hope for the best.
if it's something that's offering value and you start or pinpoint, you don't have to edit it crazy, but even if you can go in CapCut and trim out a hook that you find, some
Cool.
type of intriguing statement that you said, cut that 6-second piece out, put it at the very beginning. And then even if you say it again the second time, 30 seconds in, that's okay. As long as you've grabbed their attention, because you've only got 3 to 4 seconds on video before they just to the next thing. I mean, I'm not sure as much on LinkedIn because I don't have the experience, but at least on Facebook and Instagram, that's kind of.
I've seen a lot of people on YouTube do that, where it's like, even if it's a podcast or something, they'll put the first, like, even up to a minute long thing at the beginning just to really draw you in. And then it goes into their intro and all that.
For sure on YouTube, the way it works, I don't know what your experience is with on YouTube, but with YouTube, the metrics are 30 seconds. So they track your first 30 seconds on the chart really, really intensely, and kind of measure that against all the competitive videos with those keywords and your own videos. And then based on its performance in that first 30 seconds and how many viewers are retained, it's tested out with more people like that. So it really, that's kind of their way to get rid of the clickbait too, because if someone clicks on something and then there's not the value right away and they leave, well, yeah, I got a bunch of clicks and views that got counted because it counts anything longer than 3 seconds as a view, but it knows that 90% of people left within the first 30 seconds and it's a 10-minute video. So the promise of the video didn't meet why they clicked. Because on average, these type of people are leaving and then it just kills your video dead. Whereas if you can get them to watch for more than 30 seconds, it definitely helps. So I found, like, looking through the analytics on the ones that really perform that of ours, we have several videos on one of my biggest clients' channels that have hit over 5 million views. So, and they're 30 minutes long. So we have over 18 million watch hours on that channel, which is math on that. The amount of trust time that's been built up with people over the past 5 years we've been doing that is insane. And that's another big benefit of the video, I think, is you might be able to get the same amount of impressions with a carousel post because they're pushing those too now. And if they're reading it and doing the deep dive of your caption, actually going through the whole carousel, you might get 30 seconds to a minute with them, which is way better than a single image post or them skimming through something to find what they're going to reply on a comment. But on a video, they're building FaceTime with you. They're getting to hear the inflection in your voice. They're getting to see you as a person and connect with you that way. And you can get 20-minute watch sessions. They get like a 15-second clip that you post. They might watch half of it and go to the next one. Or even if the best case, they really, really like that post, they go to your profile, find a couple more reels like it or clips like it. They watch 4 or 5 videos. Well, then total, they still only built up 1 minute to 2 minutes of watch time with you. Whereas on one YouTube video that has 10 minutes and a 30% watch time, that's still 3 or 4 minutes they got with you. And I think that's really the hidden treat of video that people don't see is you really get to dig deep with people. And you don't necessarily, if you're not selling one-off small ticket items, if you're selling business coaching or masterminds or retainer projects or big ticket items, you don't need the virality. You just need long watch sessions with the same 20 to 30 people over the course of a year.
That's true. And that's what they say with the best landing pages is you got a video there kind of coaching them through that, that final almost like doubt within their mind where they're like, is this a real person? Can they help me? Like, what are they really offering? But that a lot of times is the tipping point and it pushes them over the edge.
Right. So I guess what's the biggest thing that you're helping clients with, or what's your main offering and service? I dug through your page a little bit, but.
Sure. So it'd mostly be organic content for small businesses. I've got the Rank Rise Media is that brand for that. And then I can do some paid ads for that too. More so have done that with my 9-to-5, and then email marketing, newsletter marketing, that kind of thing. But generally, a lot of small businesses don't see a lot of value in that early on, at least.
Right.
And then Coda Gifts is another thing. So it's gift boxes that we offer to it's mostly realtors and banks that have client gifts that they want to, just get a big deal with their brand on it. We can custom engrave any product that they can think of and include that in boxes too. So kind of saves a lot of people time. It seems like a pretty easy win for a lot of people, and just get the word out there. So yeah, between those two things, that's what I'm trying to grow between my personal brand and those two companies.
Awesome. Yeah. And do you have like a number or goal or what you need to get to be able to leave that? Or what's your
I would say a year probably would be right around the comfort zone for me to,
right. And I'd say that for me that's what it took for me to be able to leave my 9 to 5 was about that same range. I mean, and I did it for 3 years in a row to make sure, because, the internet can be fickle and it can come, especially when I was dealing with my first 2 clients. We grew their page to 800,000 followers, got 200 million views, and another one's got 90 million views with 280,000 followers. So it was all built off of virality and the, stuff where it was most of our income was from integrated ads, sponsorships, and brand deals, and Google AdSense paying us every month. So, I mean, that's really where I got started with the organic viral type content. But then I picked up a client who already had a big Instagram following. She's a motivational speaker. She's a TEDx speaker, best-selling author, New York Times. So she has a mastermind coaching program, and then she has one big event every year. And she hired me on just to go take event photography, videography for one of her in-home masterminds. And then when I was there, after talking to me and being around me a little bit, she kind of realized that I'm not like the guy with just the camera that's just pressing buttons and recording stuff. I've had, more strategy side and how to use the videos tactically to actually make sure you're not just putting up a cute little video with a caption and getting engagement that doesn't drive results. Like, what type of videos and how do we need to structure these, and how can we efficiently do that so that it's not taking you all month. So in that one day, I was able to get her, almost an entire month worth of content just by batching it out. So, and from there, we were really able to speak directly to her audience. And then she was able to see more conversions versus just sharing the cutesy stuff that's going to go viral. So I think that was the first time I really had any hands-on personal experience with, it's almost better to not get the big views.
That's true. That makes sense.
It's because we're not as many people. If we're speaking directly to the people that fit exactly in her product, that's an ideal fit, that's not going to be the masses. That's not going to be everybody. That's only going to be a handful of people. So really, it's the way I structure it is we build, we have growth content that is trying to reach and trying to cast a wide net. And then we have that value content that is really trying to speak specifically to a target audience and deliver value for them. So knowing it's not going to go viral, it might only reach 20%, 10% of what your big posts get. But once we hit those people and we, on the back end, provide nurturing posts that are then speaking to them even further and further, and kind of just scale between like growth, value, nurture, growth, value, nurture, growth, value, nurture, kind of structure it with that kind of posting frequency. You start attracting more of the right people, even though you're not getting as much impressions and volume, if that's not your goal. So for her, it's been great. And I'm trying to get more clients like her versus the people that need to get 2 million views a month or we're not breaking even.
Sure.
That gets, it's very high stress.
It's hard to chase that. Yeah.
You're a slave to the algorithm.
Yeah.
So,
and you're just trying to chase trends, and it just, it's difficult.
It's not fun. So, but yeah, I mean, it looks like you're on the right track. I know we're kind of like, you said it on the opposite ends of things, but as far as like, I feel
like you've got all the knowledge built up. Kind of felt my way through trying to build up an audience, but
Well, how long have you done LinkedIn? How long did that take you to build up 6,000?
So yeah, let's see here. Okay, so the main growth has come in the last 6 months, I would say.
Okay.
So like I told you, November, I had 650 followers, and now I'm at 7,500. But, um, I've really only been engaging for 6 months.
Okay.
And, that was probably the worst point, where it was, November to, what would it be? March, April, maybe, where it was like I would post every day, twice
Hmm.
a day, and get 1 to 2 likes if I'm lucky. And
Yeah.
then I just keep doing it. And I'm like, you just gotta keep going after it. And then nothing would change. And then I was like, okay, I've got to change then. And, tried to just feel my way through it. And that's part of it, is like, now it's obvious to me that you need to engage to get engagement, at least early on.
Right.
You got to build up a name for yourself, and then once you get engagement, you get views, because you can't get views without people liking your stuff.
Hmm.
And then, um but I mean, like, that's obvious to me now, but before, I was just looking at these other people that would get 100 likes a post and have 20,000 followers, and I'm like, how the heck do they even, like, I mean, yes, their content is great, but it's not like, I could post the same exact thing and it's not going to get me anything, you know.
Right.
But it just takes leveling up that mindset, and even the delivery of value, just figuring out how to word things right. So then you're worrying about, like, I have a degree in graphic design, so at least that helps me in terms of,
Yeah.
like, being able to, craft my work well enough that it's digestible, I guess, to
Yeah.
people. But, yeah, and then the copywriting thing was just kind of a learning curve, and just, try and leverage AI as best as I can, and, in terms of topics, and just because we've got so much information in our mind, but yet when we go sit down to write, we're like, okay, what do I write about? You know?
It almost works the same way as video, but video is the
Mhm.
nth degree. You have all this
Yeah,
stuff,
true.
stuff you want it, but then the second you turn the camera on and look at it and press record, you're like, what do I say? What was I going to say?
Yeah.
Oh, how do I? Yeah, it's hard, but I'd say if you do start getting into video and you find someone up there that, even if it's a friend or family member or someone that you hire to come batch record, like what I do with people in person,
Mhm.
um, really what helps, I find, is that I was able to take from teaching is using consistent construct feedback. It's a teaching mechanism strategy that kind of helps students feel comfortable answering questions and build their confidence up in groups. And so basically the way you can do that with your videographer or a family member that's recording you and helping you with that is having those string of questions already written out, and just kind of what
Okay.
we're doing, having what we're doing, just have a conversation and have
Mhm.
it where you're not looking at the camera, you're just having a conversation and it's on camera and just recorded as one full take. And so what I do with people is I ask them that question, and because I'm cutting myself out, I have to coach them and remind them, if I
Mhm.
ask a question, repeat it in the beginning of your statement. So if I say, what
Oh,
got
sure.
you started in this and blah, blah, you don't just go right into it. You say, well, really how I got started was going into it.
Oh, okay. I like
Biggest thing
that.
you learned getting started and growing your LinkedIn to 6,000 people in 6 months? Instead of
Mhm.
just listing it and then posting that, it's not going to have the same type of hook as if you say, well, the biggest thing that helped me grow 6,000 followers in 6 months was,
Mhm.
just by repeating the question in your answer to start, kind of gives you a natural hook and a natural
Mhm.
build up to the context for when you go to post that or edit it. You've already teed yourself up, kind of. And
Okay.
then what the other person can do also is, if you stutter or you have a misspeech or a speech pattern break, another thing that helps is, instead of me saying, okay, that was good, but try and say this instead, or let's do that take again. That puts
Mhm.
people in like shell shock and they don't know what to repeat and what to say again. So
Yeah.
I instead build off of their answer, try and put what they said in my own words and add more inferences and context of what I would like them to say. And then they do the same thing back. And then they just repeat what I said, adding their own or correcting something that I said, because they're the expert. So it's kind of, we just play that game of building off of each other's responses, and it kind of just helps them get more comfortable in front of the camera. And then also you end up getting really good responses and sound bites that can be combined to make a really engaging, 30 seconds to a minute of value.
Okay.
For sure. What are some of the biggest challenges and problems people are facing when they reach out to you? Like, what are some of the reasons that people are scheduling calls with you, and what problems are they hoping that you can help them solve?
Sure. The problem that I hear most often is I'm getting a lot of creators that are, trying to learn from me, and email marketing and newsletters are a big one, that nobody knows how to start a newsletter. And they know how to post a lot of content, and they don't understand that, it's just basically that leads right into your newsletter. Like, all of the content that you're posting, you can use for the newsletter. You just deep dive a little bit more, or you give them a few topics that you're posting every week. And it's not like an everyday thing. A lot of times it's usually once a week that you're posting a newsletter, because otherwise it would just get to be too much. People aren't gonna read them as often, I would say.
I don't know how far you want to go with all this, but I think really with, even, you said you don't really have the knowledge, or you still feel like you don't, but there are definitely things that you've learned from being able to grow on LinkedIn, that if you do have a family member or a friend, that you can get a $100 light on Amazon with a $80 shadow box, softbox will do, and then your iPhone will do almost as good as what you're seeing with my camera right now. I mean, you're really not going to get a huge leg up until you learn how to use the camera and get the right lens. That's going to be thousands of dollars. And I think most people, 90% of people these days, you need an iPhone and a good light. That's really all you need.
Okay.
And I even tell that to my own clients. Like, some clients, it's like, I'll do this for you, but really I'll shoot the video and make it. And if you want to pay it, cool. But I don't think that's what's best for your brand right now. I think that we should actually, for the same budget, you could go out and I can help show you for 90 days and coach you in the field of how to use your iPhone to do this and do the shoots with you. But after 90 days, you're not going to need me. You can just do that and then hire me on just for the graphic design and editing. And that's kind of what I'm trying to find more of, is the business professionals that can want to be coached and started on their content journey, to be able to teach them to do that in short periods, and then kind of coach myself out of a job to where I can just do the service delivery and then kind of scale, arbitrage, because I've already got the team. I can kind of outsource and just project manage. I can project manage and coach. For me, that's way more fulfilling. It's way more fun. I enjoy that side of it versus.
And coaching is more scalable than like trying to work on work in the field all the time. Yeah.
Right.